Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to have a little chat about Indomitus. What else we talk about? It's the 13th of July 2020. The box went up for pre-order on the 11th, so the Saturday. I recommend that if you don't already have a coffee, or I tipped that a bit too severely, a coffee or a tea, perhaps grab one, because this could go on a while. And, well, mind you, I suppose depending on where you are in the world, you could get a beer, whiskey, vodka, whatever you fancy, really. And even if you're in the UK, it's only, 11 o'clock when I'm recording this, so you could totally get away with it. No, don't have a drink now. So, Indomitus. Oh boy. It's been, I believe Leaky Cheese described it as a kerfuffle. And I will say straight away, this is not going to be a Games Workshop is 100% Satan video. It's tempting, but I think there are genuinely arguments to be made that some of this is not of their doing. Some of it. Take note of that. Take that cursor off the dislike. But actually, well, no. Most of you watch on mobile. Get your finger away from that dislike button. Save it to the end. You can dislike it at the end. That's fine. But just wait a moment. What was it? Mild tangent. I need a tangent button. Can you get like a GG button with a custom? That's stupid. Someone asked the other day, why do you always say, hello, my name is Curious at the start of videos? And firstly, mostly habit. I just got into the habit of doing it, and now I press the record key, and it's like Pavlovian response, like when a dog sees a meringue or whatever that is. That's not what it is. What am I talking about? And two is the fact that according to the analytics, like 50% of people who watch this, well, more than that actually, who watch these videos aren't subscribed. So there is a good chance you're watching this for the first time. Technically, you're all watching this for the first time, unless this is your second time watching this. Don't know why I'd watch it twice, but there you go. Anyway, just want to say, you can subscribe if you like. It's there. The button is there. It doesn't do much these days, but it is there. It makes the number go up on my end, so that's nice. And I get it. You might be scared of commitment. You've been subscribed to other channels. You maybe wanted to chuck them a quid or two on Patreon, but then they betrayed you and they did a sponsorship with Raid Shadow Legends. I just want to tell you that you don't need to be scared of that commitment here. I won't betray you like that. You can take the next step if you like. Didn't Voldemort do a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship? Yep, yeah, he did. Look, it's obviously joking, but go and subscribe to Voldemort. Don't subscribe to me. Subscribe to him. He does really good lore videos. This channel's way better than mine. Go and subscribe to that instead. Also, I would totally do a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship if they emailed me for a 10th time, because I deleted the other 9. Anyway, let's talk about Indomitus. So, oh man, there are a few different factors when it comes to the not 100% satisfactory pre-order day for Indomitus. I will say, firstly, there is a wider context to Games Workshop as a whole currently, which is of course the pandemic that we are still in the middle of. We know full well that pandemic has caused massive economic issues. It's also caused a huge amount of, literal death and suffering. It's caused industries to shut down temporarily, or in some cases permanently, and of course Games Workshop did cease production themselves for like 2 months. Everyone went home. It was just nothing. No releases, no manufacturing, no shipping. Now, I am reasonably sure that will have had an impact on Indomitus in terms of the production of Indomitus. I mean, Leaky Cheese did a video on this as well, I think earlier today or yesterday, one of the two. I'll link it in the description down below. And he points out a few things that I was actually going to talk about in this video as well, which I'll still say, but it's nice to know that this stuff is corroborated. I've spoken to several retailers at this point, and they got like 30% of the stock that they're expecting for Indomitus. That is the first sign that perhaps things have not gone all that well when it comes to the production of this box. There's also the fact that Indomitus was supposed to come out on the 6th of June, and it instead went up for pre-order on the 11th of July, so that is a month-long delay for this box. It's worth thinking about, which we'll go into in a bit more detail later, but all of their releases, they have like a roadmap for releases. Anything that was supposed to come out after Indomitus will be in the context of ninth edition and in the context of Indomitus. So there will be a huge amount of pressure to get the box out there and to launch ninth, because everything that comes after it is going to be in the context of that launch and in the context of ninth. So that'll be a factor as well. Those are things that Games Workshop cannot do anything about. That is the first main thing. They can't do anything about that. No one can. That is one of those issues that you do not see coming, you cannot really properly prepare for, and you've just got to roll with it and hope that it all ends up okay in the end. I would imagine there have been some very tense and very unhappy meetings at GWHQ, because this pandemic will have absolutely wrecked all of their projections, all of their plans, all of their set in stone release dates that suddenly can't be set in stone anymore because we can't make anything or ship anything or do anything. It will have had an impact for sure. The fact that the release date was pushed and the fact that retailers got so few compared to what they're expecting to get is an excellent indication that they were hit by this pretty hard with regards to this box specifically. That all being said, that is the bit that Games Workshop cannot help. They cannot do anything about that. That's not their fault. I'm not going to blame them for that. However, marketing and production are not the same thing. The issue that I have with the way Indomitus was approached is it feels like the marketing in no way suggested that there would be any problems, which feels somewhat disingenuous when you start reading accounts from, let's say, independent retailers who got 30% of the stock they're expecting, really small retailers who got nothing. Things like that kind of paints a picture that things are not 100% okay. Now, don't get me wrong, Games Workshop are not going to sit there and go, lads, I just want to say, it's an absolute shit show over here, allegedly. I'm not saying that that's what they're going to do. Don't sue me. They're not going to sit there and go, hey, so everything's terrible. We couldn't make as many as we wanted. We're having to put it out because we have to get it out. There's nothing else we can do. They're not going to do that. I wouldn't expect them to do that. That would be disastrous. That would be bad. But you can adjust your marketing, surely, from a position of we're going to let people buy 6. I mean, that was the first thing. When you say, okay, bear with me here. When you hear the words, we're releasing a new box, you can have 6 each. Do you immediately think to yourself, A, oh man, there's hardly any of these, I'd better get in quick, or 2, wow, they've got a shed load of these, a boatload, if you will, a literal boatload. Which of those do you tend to go for? Personally, if someone says, okay, we're putting a hard limit of 6 copies per person, I don't immediately think to myself, they just haven't made enough. That's not my go-to with that, you know? I don't immediately think to myself, production must have been tough. I think, oh nice, there's fucking loads of them. There's swimming in them. There's probably got a big pool of them at Warhammer World. With a diving board, what's his name, Scrooge McDuck, like that you just dive into. That would be significantly painful. I don't think that speaks of scarcity. I don't think that speaks of issues with production or not having the numbers. That is a marketing. That is like a marketing thing that is based around there being plenty. And if there isn't plenty, don't say that there is. That is the issue that I've got. Everything surrounding this was like, yeah, there's loads of them. There's literal boatloads. You can have 6 per person. They reduced that down to 3. They did do that. They said 3 per person, not 6. But still, even then, 3 per person kind of suggests there's a decent amount going. Not as many as 6. At that point, it's like, oh, okay, maybe they underestimated demand again. That was when they changed that. I was like, oh, this is going to be... it could still be fine. Could still be absolutely fine. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, not ideal. And it's that approach that is the thing that I think they are at fault for. They're not at fault for a pandemic. They're not at fault for having to shut down production. They're not at fault for struggling to get their roadmap back on track, for, having to catch up with the releases. They're not at fault for essentially having to release this thing because everything else with 40k is reliant on it. That's not really something that they can be massively blamed for. in any way, really, because it's impacted everybody. Everyone has had some sort of issue stemming from this horrendous situation that the world is currently in. I don't think they can be blamed for that. But you can always adapt your marketing, and this is the thing that gets me. It felt like there wasn't an adaptation. It felt like it was, look how great this is awesome, this is amazing, you can have loads of them, we've got loads, we've made more of these than anything else, look how great this is, you can all have one, etc, etc, so on and so on. The hype machine built and built and built and built, and it just kept going and going and going and going, and then when release day actually came, they sold out in 8 minutes, and then all the independent retailers went out of stock as well, within like 15 to 30 minutes, which is not great for anyone, especially when websites are crashing. You put it in your cart, you go and try and pay for it, but then you can't pay for it because the website's died, and then you go back and it's not in your cart anymore. And then, okay, now we get to the ranty bit, hang on. Then you get to the scalpers again, okay? You go to eBay, you're like, this sucks, I couldn't get a copy. They've been talking about it for ages. I want everything that's in there. This is a really cool box. I want the box. They keep telling me that I need the box in my life. The box will make all my dreams come true. They've never said that. You go to eBay, and there's some arsehole selling 100 of them for 300 quid each. Or selling like 75 of them, split into halves, and each half is twice the cost of the full box. And then you think to yourself, what are you actually playing at? Like, that is the bit that is really, really difficult to reconcile, okay? An initial limit of 6 per person, reduced to 3 per person. So there's some spanner now on eBay selling 100 of them. How is it still allowed to happen? Is there any... I haven't bought anything off the Games Workshop website for quite some time. Pretty much all my stuff comes from Element now. Element and a actual local store to me. Is there no capture? Is there nothing to prevent bots just running in and grabbing everything? Can it not be changed so that instead of 2 per order, it's like 2 per address or something, or 3 per address? It's all combined together to be like, we've got you covered, we don't have you covered, but you can get it for 3 times the price from over there, because nothing stopped them from buying 100 of them. It's all just not great, and a lot of it stems from the idea that actually there were plenty, but there weren't enough to go around, and everything that surrounded the marketing for it suggested that there would be, but then there just wasn't. There just wasn't. And it wouldn't be anywhere near as irritating, to be honest, if Games Workshop didn't already market collector's edition stuff frequently. That's the thing that gets me. Because it is not like they don't market collector's edition or limited number stuff on the regular, you know? They do it all the time. When it comes to limited edition Black Library books, there's a limited edition Indomitus book, for God's sake. When it comes to the rule book, the new rule book, the fancy white one that I really like. Don't get me wrong, I really like that limited edition rule book. I wouldn't buy it. In fact, just because it's way too expensive for what it is. Obviously, there'll be people who don't think that's true, but that's fine. I also don't know that the art really looks like anything to do with 40k, especially the back cover. I would get the back cover as a tattoo, but I don't know what it's got to do with 40k. They do the same thing with these every time. It's like, we've made 2,000 of these. That's it. You want it, you got to get up quick, you got to get up fast, you got to grab it, and if you're not lucky and you haven't got it, tough. It's gone. That's it. You know, we've done the print, we've done the run, game over for you. It's a collector's edition, it's limited edition, what do you want from me? I mean, admittedly, they don't phrase it quite like that, because that would be terrible marketing, but you get the idea. They make it very clear there is a limited number, they put a number on it, and they say, this is super rare, okay? That's all we're going to say. That's not all they say. You get the idea. They do it all the time. It happens all the time. They have limited edition stuff constantly. And if even an ounce of that had been applied to the Indomitus box, I feel like so much of the anger and annoyance could have been avoided. It could have been easily avoided. If it was made clear that there's a limited number of these. We have made a shed load. but you can only have one per person, and the chances are it'll go quick. If that had been the core message, it still would have sold out instantly. That's the thing. It still would have sold out instantly. You know it would. You absolutely know it would. We all know it would. It would have been gone in 30 seconds. As it was pretty much gone in 30 seconds anyway, but it would have given a more realistic, perspective on it, I guess. I just don't feel like it was pushed the right way, considering how many there actually were, and how quickly it sold out is the main thing. Now, I mean, when it comes to scalpers, we've talked about scalpers before. At the end of the day, if you're a scalper, you can go fuck yourself, is essentially the message. But there needs to be a way to deal with it better than they currently are doing. They've tried different methods in the past, they have tackled it before. It's clearly not working. If people are able to get 100 copies and flog them all on eBay, then something's gone disastrously wrong there, and you need to rethink your approach, because the only thing that pisses people off more than not being able to get hold of the box is finding out that some absolute waste of space has managed to get hold of 100 of them and is selling them on for massive profit. That is the thing that is more irritating. It's more irritating than not getting one. Way more irritating than that. It is the worst part about these limited releases, because, I mean, it's just shit, innit? So, like, there's no other way of putting it. It's garbage, and no one wants to see that. I think, really, as I say, there are aspects of this that Games Workshop has no control over. There are things about it that they shouldn't be blamed for, because some of it is not their fault. Anything to do with the pandemic, with the shutdown of production, all of that stuff, there's not much they can do about that. When it comes to actually releasing the thing, you could argue, yeah, okay, well, why didn't they wait? They maybe could, but they're not going to want to, because it's going to mess everything else up even more than it already is. I can understand why they wanted to get it out there and actually release it. That I don't have as much of a problem with. It is the presentation and the marketing. It is the hype building, and it is the unrealistic expectation that is allowed to foster amongst the community, because the community thinks they're going to get something and then they don't get it. And it could have been easily avoided. It could have been put into a more realistic perspective, and a lot of the complaints and anger about it would have gone. Like, it wouldn't be as severe as it is. I have heard that there's going to be a second run. I don't know how accurate that is. I honestly don't know. I have reached out to a few people to see if I can get some information on it, but so far I've got nothing back. If I find anything out, I'll let you know. But yeah, not handled great. A lot of very unhappy people, but don't let it consume you. Don't let it, gnaw away at you. It is frustrating and irritating. It's also not the end of the world. And you'll be able to get this stuff again, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, that went on for approximately forever. Oh, that's pretty much cold now. Garbage. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the release in the comments down below. If you did get to this point and you really didn't like anything I had to say, then do hit that dislike button. I'll be honest, it doesn't matter which one you click, because YouTube treats them both the same. Engagement is engagement to the algorithm, and as such, the only way to truly show your displeasure is to not say anything and not click anything. So, yeah, really, do whatever you like. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you for the next one. I missed out the affiliate link. It's in the description. It's in the description. You can use it if you like. Do what you want. It's a free world. I'll see you next time.